just nature. Nature's just carved it out that men are expected to lead, men are expected to provide, men are expected to protect, and all these things come. With the financial consequences that we're talking about there. You're asking how then we balance this thing of trying to provide for these people, or trying to take care of your parents, sometimes your siblings and stuff like that, and also yourself. I would say that is why, according to me, men need to work a little more.
Welcome back to the Balance It podcast. This is a platform where we have discussions about wellness, purpose, and lifestyle in general.
And in today's podcast, we have two gentlemen on board. In life, we need a balance. So that is why we thought it is very important to also have get to men's brains and understand what their perspectives are on different elements. I am your host, I'm Eda Onyoni.
And I'm Gertrude Nasike. So just before we let you guys introduce yourselves, we're going to have a few icebreakers just to create a warm environment. Mm-hmm. And to start us off, if you were given to choose between time and money, what would you choose?
Who are you asking?
Anyone can start.
Yeah.
Well, I would choose money. Then I would use the money to create time.
Wow.
Time and money.
Yeah.
I'd choose time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why?
Because ideally time is money, so but money is not time. So as simple as that. I can easily convert my time to money, but I can't convert my money to time. You can extrapolate that in many events whereby, like, let's say maybe if someone is in the hospital, he wishes he has time. He might have money, but he doesn't have time. So basically,
I would also go with time because I don't know how much money is at stake here. So when I know, like, maybe I have like a lot of amount of money, then I would go with money. But since I don't know how much is at stake here, I would go with time. Because with time, yes, I can be able to.
For me, I would go with money. Just as he has said, I can use money to multiply my time. Maybe leverage on other people's time to actually multiply. If you're giving me 24 or 8 hours of your day, he's giving me 8 hours of his day. And I'm also putting 8 hours of my day. Those are like 24 hours as compared to just you who has 8 hours to work. Yeah, so I would take money.
That is what basically money do to rich people. When you have money, you buy time. In the sense that you have people to do run errands for you, and if you needed to do X, Y, Z, and X is 8 hours, Y is 8 hours, Z is 8 hours, you may do none of them, but you'll have 3 people paid to do all of it for you, and you'll have your 24 hours for you. So money to me buys time. And when you talk about money in this case, I was not talking about small money.
Okay, so on to our second one. What's your favorite sport?
Football.
favorite in what way? Like what I play or what I like?
Either, like, there's no specificity.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I think it's football generally.
Do you play?
Yeah, I played football. Nowadays I don't play.
Oh.
Mine is volleyball. It's like my new because I was introduced to volleyball like recently and I like it. Initially I didn't have like a specific one, but right now I feel like it's volleyball.
Oh, for me I think it's running. I like watching people run, and also I like running because I love how it makes my body feel.
Or just because you're from Kenya.
Really?
Yeah, Kenyans run. Kenyans are run.
Yeah.
It's a well-known fact.
Yeah, and on to our last one. If you were to describe yourself in one word, what would that be?
I'd say relentless.
Do you mind explaining further?
Yep, because I'm someone who, when I decide to go for something, I go for it. That this is not to mean that I'm like successful in everything that I go for, but sometimes I go for it not caring how many bodies I leave behind. Like if I say that I'll do this, I'll do it, even if it eats me up, because sometimes you say, okay, I'll be going to, let's say, maybe to the gym every morning, and I don't get to do that every day. But the moment I don't do that, I really feel bad about myself the whole day. I just feel that I'm a liar. I betrayed myself, so something like that. So I'm really hard on myself. So I'm relentless when I decide to do something. I really go for it.
I would say patient, because good things come to those who wait. Yeah, so I think I'm patient, and in instances where I feel that I'm not, I really want to talk to myself to be patient, because in most cases, in the things that we try to do, some of them don't go as we want, and it's patience that will tell you, calm down, start all over again, repeat it several times, and at one time it will just work. So patience is a virtue that I've always asked God to bestow onto me, so that I face life every day. Because waiting from January 1st to December 31st, or hoping that we're going to have a new year in itself is patience. Because we've never had any day that comes in twos. Each and every day is just one day, and for you to wait for the 365 days, it needs patience. Because sometimes things are so bad and you want it to be December so that you ball. But December can't come before October. So you have to be patient. So yes.
Sure. And I like your analogy as well. Mine is purpose driven. In everything that I do, I want to show up according to how my purpose is. So I can say my word is purpose driven.
For me, I would say resilient. I'm that kind of person who would really, once I put my mind into something, I would really try and go for it, regardless of the obstacles. Yes, you fail, but you still gotta have the courage to keep going until you feel like, I think I've done all I could. This was my best, and it didn't work. That's when I would stop it. Yeah. So resilient.
And I can attest to that.
Wow, I'm happy.
So at this point, I would like to officially now introduce you guys to the podcast. First of all, thank you so much for accepting to come to our podcast and just share your experiences as men, and just put yourself on the spotlight as now people who are like a sample of the men who are out there. It's very important that we get to hear your perspective. So welcome. Feel at ease. Feel at ease. It's actually an honor to have you here, because you see, from our perspective, we are ladies, so getting to understand what goes on in your lives, and actually what you are thinking about in terms of different perspectives in life is very important for us to also have a balance, and that is why we are a Balanced It podcast. Yes, so I would like you guys to introduce yourselves. Just tell us who you are, maybe what you do, and maybe your passions.
I can start. To balance it for you guys, I'm Joseph. Joseph, Jaoko, Ochieng. Ochieng is my dad, and Jaoko is my name that I hold so dear. I am a student here in Hungary. I study at the Oluoch University. I'm in my third year of study, and My passion is in what I study, which is linguistics and generally the study of languages and looking at languages from a cultural perspective. So yes, that is me in a short summary.
Good to have you here.
It's nice to have someone who is patient speak before you, because I can speak. But anyway, yeah, I'm Newton Oluoch. I was also a student here, than being a student. My passion is in, I'd say, interaction design, which is basically interface design, and generally it's called digital media design, but the name keeps evolving right now. So anything that you see in front of you that has been curated from the website, the software, the PWA, progressive web applications, and things like that. So that's where my passion is, and generally design. So, but currently I'm trying to narrow down to only 2 aspects of design, which is 3D and interface design. And that's who I am, basically.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we are glad again to have you on board.
Okay, so just in line with your introductions, both of you have mentioned being students and continuing or navigating into a different career path, because from your, let's say, undergraduate studies, your master's level, and for you to your PhD level right now, right? So I would like to see like your take on career development, because for Newton, it's like most probably you're taking the more of self-employment or entrepreneurship side. And for you, it's like more of research. Like, what's your view on general career development in relation to your journeys? Yeah.
Well, talking about career development in this instance, for me, is like developing and adding value onto what you had already chosen in life in terms of career. So for me at this level, I would say that I want to go into research and to get a good leverage and to get a better platform to go into research in this instance is to get this education that I'm pursuing first. Then from there, now, my worldview of issues around my area of study will be widened, and from there, then I can now be able to develop my career. And I don't know if you're asking it in the aspect of general career development for people, or you're just narrowing it down to me. But if it's narrowed down to me, then that is basically what I think I want.
Okay. To me, I think for career development, it's been I'm more of I started as more of a generalist. Mm-hmm. I'm someone who believes that I try to take every knowledge that I can get. Like, I try to get horizontal knowledge. There are people that are masters. They just come from, if someone is, let's say, maybe a teacher, they're just a teacher and professional teacher. And you say that guy was a noble teacher, he was a teacher. Me, I'm someone who, if I ended up being a teacher, I could have been a teacher who is a teacher, but also plays football and also does this. So I embrace career as such. I want to die empty. As Miles Monroe says, that you should die empty. That in the epitaph should be something that mine should be something like he gave it his all, like I did everything that I could. And every moment that I find myself, in a day that I feel like I didn't give myself, as I said, relentless, I didn't give out all of myself, I feel like I'm failing. So in terms of my career, I always try to find challenges, just embrace challenges. I don't want to lock myself. But as I grow, I niche. I'm niching right now. They say I'm a designer, but right now I'm just going to 3D modeling and animation and interface design. But I can do all of these other things, but I just want to niche right now.
And I think that is a very good aspect of being able to niche down, because we all know that being a jack of all trades sometimes
becomes very hard. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think also just the niche aspect is very important, and I think you have brought it very well when you say that as you grow. So it means that even in this journey of trying to know whatever area that you want to specialize in, then you need to be patient with yourself to be, okay, I do not have a niche right now, but at some point I will get to that place, Yeah, and I think it's very important. So you wanted to say something?
Sometimes it comes more of naturally, because as you try to do all these things, try to juggle from one thing to another, you find that which always works best for you. So sometimes it takes a natural flow that I think I've tried this X number of times, and every time I do this, then it works for me best. So sometimes niching just takes a natural course.
And also, just to clarify, sorry, I mean, maybe I'm taking a different tangent. Just to clarify, maybe the way that I said it, it comes out like maybe someone that maybe wants to do everything, which is true. I like doing a number of stuff. I like to have knowledge in politics stuff, and I just like to have knowledge basically. But the situation that I'm in, or let's say the box that I'm in right now, if you ask someone, if you go on LinkedIn, if you go anywhere, if you ask someone, they'll tell you Newton is a designer. But now the thing is, design is so huge. So it's only making sense from a designer who knows. If you ask any designer out there, you'll find that they know Photoshop, they know Illustrator, they know Premiere Pro. It's very hard to find someone who only knows one thing as a designer. So as I started, I think as a designer, you need to have a broad base, so that you go as you have a peak, an apex. It's so hard to survive because even in the field of design, everything is interdependent. If you see a video, maybe this picture of the video was edited in Photoshop, then it came to Premiere Pro, then so yeah, then as you grow is when you niche. As I think that's my point.
Which I think basically is in every other field, because when like doctors, when you start, there are those that are general practitioners. Then as they go for their second or third degree, then you find somebody goes into ENT, some other people go into gynecologists and stuff. So that you create, or you bring out yourself as an expert. You will hear that X is an expert in this, X is an expert in this. If you go to education, you will find those who are in early childhood education, for example. They started with education generally, which is very important, so that you know almost every other aspect of what your field involves or is concerned with. Then you now as you develop, you make it narrower and narrower and narrower, because as people age, as so many developments happen in people's lives, one may not be in a position to like do everything. So taking a career path and specifying or specializing in something is in almost all fields of career out here.
Yeah, and I think that brings us to a very important point of creativity and innovation, because in all the aspects, whichever career or whichever industry or sector someone chooses to be in, you'd find the more you specialize in something, the higher your chances of being more innovative in it, because it's like you now understand the in-depth maybe problems or the pain points in this area. I don't know how the two of you, like from your individual journeys, have managed to identify these sources of innovation or these areas of creativity within just your different spheres of career development.
Okay, I'd say that for me it's really favorable, because in the space that I am, there is a lot of innovation, and that's actually one reason that I'm more into that. Through my education, like I'm more of a scientist or a biologist, and so, I mean, I didn't get to practice that. I practiced it, but not so much, and I was just pulled towards design, as he was saying earlier, that you just notice what you're good at, and I was pulled towards that. And I love this space because there's a lot of creativity. You're allowed to think and do what you want. So as you're saying that, just back to your question, you're saying that how do I see in my space, how do I see innovation in my space?
Yeah, or how do you actually identify these points where you can actually bring out your innovative aspect or skill? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the way I always do is, first of all, you have to solve a problem to earn money. For you to get money from someone, you have to help them do something. If you look at the context back at home, maybe someone wants water, you carry water to them for them to their home, they pay you the money. You can just then scale that up in every aspect of your life. So like right now, I'm trying to solve a number of things, like in terms of I'm trying to get solutions in the space of SAS, which is software as a service mostly. And in this space, the way you approach it, there are many ways. Right now, people don't just wake up and do something. There are different frameworks out there. There's design thinking, there's innovative thinking. There are frameworks out there that can guide you to come up with a solution. And then there are also the incubation centers. Like here in Europe, there's so many incubation centers. Here in Hungary, I know 2. And generally in Europe, there are quite a number. So if you have an idea, you pitch to them, and if they like it, then they can help you develop it in many aspects. Mostly it's always feasibility, viability, and desirability. Is the project feasible? Is it viable? Is it desirable? In these 3 aspects first. So they help you polish it. So I'd say that first you understand the space, then you try get someone who is better than you, or someone who knows the space. There are people that are called VCs, venture capitalists, that you can speak to them. They can fund you, give you the ability to do what you want. Then from there, then you can scale it up. So I think this is the more book way to do it. But otherwise, some people also stumble into it and do it. But I don't think we are here to speak about luck. We are here to speak about maybe a bit of strategy of how you can go about it.
Yeah.
Well, the world we live in today is fast changing. And part of the reason we look at it as fast changing is innovation itself. Because today this thing is done like this. Tomorrow a whole new thing comes. 10 years or 5 years ago, AI was not there. Today AI is here. So innovation in almost every other career or field of profession is an inevitable thing. You have to be creative to survive the industry in whatever thing that it is that you are doing. Things keep changing. Today we have electric vehicles. If in your vehicle, motor vehicle manufacturing, you were just focused on fuel-driven vehicles, then you didn't give that space for innovation. So when these EVs come, they take over and you're left obsolete. So for you to keep up with the pace of how fast the world is changing, for you to avoid obsolescence, then innovation is inevitable. You must at every other time be thinking, how am I going to make my craft better tomorrow? And this is innovation. You have to think of how is tomorrow going to be better than today. Yes, in terms of solving the problems that are here with the people and marketing yourself and try to put whatever you're working on out there. So yes.
Just to add on this, as Joseph was speaking, I just thought maybe to talk about when in this space, when you want to innovate, first of all, I think you need to embrace something called, you need to embrace accepting, it's not really defeat, but in that space they call it pivoting. Where when you start something, then it doesn't work out. It's fine. If you hear the stories of what is his name? The guy who started Mac. Come on, I'm forgetting his name. The guy who started Mac. Steve. Steve. If you hear the stories of when he was innovating and like the first mouse that was built, the issues that they had there, the first phone that they built when Apple first came in, and a lot. And recently, I don't know if you've seen it, but there is this small thing that the small phone that they were trying to innovate, that you can have it here, then you beep it, then you can check on your palm and it works. It has failed terribly. And people are like castigating it. People are saying that this is what happens when you hype, it's called hype or something. I saw the term being used, take it down. When you hype something, in this case, they're speaking about AI, and you just go in without really researching. But it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You will fail if you want to innovate. So you need to embrace pivoting. You start with this idea, then if it doesn't work, you pivot to the other idea, until you find what you want. So I think people really need to understand that failure is okay in innovation.
Yeah, I agree. And in all that we do, we just started the podcast, maybe we're talking about money. We all need money to now do that. Maybe if it is research or maybe if it is now to go deep into whatever that you want to do, we need finances. So I'm just going deep with this now. I would like to know from your perspective as men, you guys have responsibilities. And I can just speak maybe from the African perspective. as men, you are required to be men in the homestead. Despite you being young, despite it's like there are some expectations that are required of you, even by your sisters, by your mothers, or by people who are younger than you, who are looking up to you. So I need to understand, how do you guys manage to have a balance in between self-care, taking care of yourselves now, and still being able to meet these financial obligations that are upon you guys as men? This was so deep, and like I just jumped into it.
That is okay. Well, I would say that I like how you brought it out, as to look at it from the perspective of being an African. And this is not really just African. I think just nature. Nature's just carved it out that men are expected to lead. Men are expected to provide. Men are expected to protect, and all these things come. All these things come with the financial consequences that you're talking about there. You're asking how then we balance this thing of trying to provide for these people, or trying to take care of your parents, maybe sometimes your siblings and stuff like that, and also yourself. I would say that is why, according to me, men need to work a little more, because it's already out there that you got to do this, and some people peg success of a man unto this. Was he able to do A, B, C, and D? So it is. I would say that the die is cast, and you just have to go there and sweat it out, and for you to meet all these things. Otherwise, one, you risk being looked at as a failure, and you also risk blaming yourself, because there is no bad thing as being a man who is not able to meet all this. Growing up, I saw my dad really try his best, that we never lacked. In his small way, that school fee was not paid was really something bad for him. And not that my mom was not there. My mom is there. She would chip in a lot, so many times. But looking at the level of worry between the two parents, I don't want to be biased, but my dad was really, So I learned then from him that being a man, you have to work on all this. You have to ensure that things run. However hard it looks, however hard it appears, you have to put that extra effort to ensure that these things run. Otherwise, I stand to be corrected, you fail. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't add more on that much, but I think just to break it down simpler, I think the point is innately as men, we have some sense of responsibility. I think, as you say, that the die has been cast, but I think that I meant to put it in another way, say that we have, though right now it's changing, that women want to do what men can do, but I think we have purpose. As a person, you have purpose. You know that it's very hard to say this without having a blanket judgment, but women, the things that if you don't do as a woman, you feel that you failed in life. Maybe the things that as a woman you feel that if I have my house, they call it maybe in African culture, as because you put in the context of Africa. A woman in Africa would feel that if I don't have my home, like my children coming to me, my husband is there, a woman might feel that they failed. And you don't need to explain that. There's just how a woman feels. There's just how a woman feels that with this, if this doesn't happen, she's failed. Also, as a man, there's a way that if you don't provide, you also feel that you should. If you don't, then you should. You should also feel that you failed. And it happens without you even controlling it, because innately you've been made like that, and we are supposed to provide. So as you're asking that, how do you balance this at a young age? I think the way I take it as practice. I always take everything as rehearsals, like most in these social responsibilities, because I feel that if I can take care of, let's say, my siblings right now, then it means I can take care of my wife and my kids. That is how I look at it. I just turn it into a positive. And surprisingly, if I don't, in as much as we don't like it, and I know because you're friends, in as much as we don't like when people, we call it black tax, when people call you back at home.
Yeah.
As a man, there's a way you are worried if people don't call you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Yes. As a man, if the phones go silent and people don't look up to you to maybe ask for support or something, then you know you fail. As you say, you know something is wrong. But also, if they call you much, you'll complain, because of course you don't want to work hard to give people your money. But also because the way I look at it sometimes is when people at home, without calling names, ask for money from you, I always say that if I don't give them this money, what am I going to do with this money? That's the question I always ask myself. If someone calls me from home and asks, and we talked about this also with Joseph, someone asks for 5,000 Kenyan shillings, and you're like, but again, if you just go back and sit in your house and chill, then you're like, what am I going to do with that 5,000 shillings? How is it going to change my life? And you know that for sure, if I give it to this person back at home, it's going to change their life. Maybe it's a kid who's been chased from school, doesn't have a school fee. Maybe it's a woman who is going to sleep hungry. You have food in the fridge. You're like, how is this going to help me? And when I come to that moment of come to Jesus, then I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to send them the money. And that gives me, personally, that gives me the urge to keep working. All of us here, if you ask us as men, we have projects. Someone has something that is doing. You want something that, in Swahili, kuna project yangu imekoma pahali. You just want to be having something that is challenging. We love challenges. So I think we are naturally more proclaimed to go to other side. And just to add something, sorry, about, because you have something about innovation, and sorry, because this is my field, I love it so much. I wanted to encourage people that if you want to innovate, something that people really forget a lot, and I think maybe Africans, is we try to create something new. Innovation, that is invention. There is no invention right now. We only have innovation. So to quote what he said about EVs, electrical vehicles, right now, here in Hungary, I have friends who are making leather out of mushroom. And yes,
Leather out of mushroom.
yes, they're making leather out of mushroom. And if you look at how they are, the way they're thinking of this, that they're scaling it up in this way, that you see when you get to sit in the cars, like let's say in the cars, they always advertise them the leather cars, leather seats and things like that. So because now you're moving towards an eco-friendly generation, imagine how this would sell for Tesla if you're saying that, yes, we're not using petrol, and also our seats are not from cows, you're not killing, we're just planting it, and we're not skinning animals, you're planting mushroom and making leather. This is innovation. And the best way to think about innovation is build into something that already exists. Build into something that, if this is a computer, build something that goes into the computer. Don't build a new computer. This is a house. Build something that goes into the house. Don't build a new house. And that is how, if I can give you a ton of examples of how, like right now when OpenAI came with ChatGPT, you don't start by building another ChatGPT. I mean, unless you're that rich enough. What you do at a personal level, you build GPTs. Generative programming text, don't quote me on that, I'm not sure about that, but you build GPTs. So if you use ChatGPT 4 right now, you'll find a button there written explore GPTs. These have all been built by ordinary people. It's just like plugins in your Chrome. If you go to Chrome and you want a plugin, an extension, you call them extension, that may be an ad blocker. That was built by someone. You pay for that. This person did not build. This person did not build another Chrome. So I think this is the best way to approach innovation. Build in a thing that already exists, because just about money, it's cheaper to do this.
I saw you guys were surprised that sometimes women are worried that that we are not called.
Yes.
we are one, because we always want to ensure that things are moving, that things are okay. But again, we are also worried because we envisage a situation where if something is required of me and I am not able to do it, you know, like he said, that somebody asks for, and in most of these cases it's money. We are worried that, one, now that these people are this quiet, are things really okay? Then two, we are worried that, okay, fine, even if they called us and now they're not quiet, can we provide what they're asking for? So it's tough being a man sometimes.
I can agree.
I see that, because it's like there's no balance. Either side is still bringing you worry.
It's life, no balance.
It's like, and I think you guys mentioned the fact that sometimes it's not like you've been expressly told, like, you are a man, so you should do this and this, but it's just the way probably society has brought us up or made us think, and kind of given us this gender roles. Oh, a woman, if you don't have your house, then you might have feel, or a man, if you're not providing, then you might have feel. But I'm thinking right now people are speaking about their mental health, and if you're putting so much also about how the society is defining how you need to live your life, because maybe as a man sometimes you're not in a position to actually provide, but you're not also going to kill yourself simply because you're also trying to provide what you're not in a position to. I don't know what's your take about moving away from these societal expectations and just trying to live your life and being free and being open to be helped as well, even if you're a man. Yeah.
Well, I want to bring culture into it.
Mm-hmm.
Societies exist in cultures.
Yeah.
So like in the African culture, and I believe in most cultures of the world, men are carved out to be providers. It's only that things have changed, because even traditionally and naturally, not every one of us can be the same. We cannot all be equal. So even in those old days, there were men and families that had more than the others. But people would not go angry, because if you have more, then you give your brother. If you don't have, then you go and ask and you are given. But things have so fast changed that certain practices that we had as societies, as cultures, have been shunned away. So mental health and men struggling with not being able to provide comes in the sense that now you don't have, but you can't ask for. That now you have, but you find it harder to give, because you're saving for the, is it called saving for the rainy day? Yes. So then people now face these challenges, because you don't have, you can't provide, but you can't ask somebody for it. You have, but sometimes you feel that if I give him what he may think that I look at him as a failure. So these challenges are making even life more hard.
Okay, so to me, if you ask me this question, like let's say 5 years ago, I'd just say that Iman, you're a man, it's your responsibility, deal with it. But right now I've learned that when you don't have something and it's tough on your side and the pressure is high or something like that, I think honesty comes in really handy. And I think also this comes with maturity, when you realize that the reality is people don't really care. What I've learned is people don't really care. Even if you post like your best, like whatever, you are scuba diving, you're doing whatever, you're bungee jumping. People nowadays, people just watch those things in WhatsApp and just pass. Nobody even says hi. People don't care. Everyone is so concerned about their life. And people only care when, let's say, you are dead, you're born, you're having a wedding maybe. After that, life is just normal to them. So at this point, I've learned that it's really important to be honest. When someone asks you something and you don't have it, just say I don't have it. This time I don't have it, and if I have next time, maybe I'll sort you. So they can go ahead and say whatever they want, but you don't have. So it saves you a lot of pressure to try to like prove that you have something. So I think the pressure, yes, we'd love to give, and we love giving sometimes, but when you don't have, it's fine, you don't have. So don't worry about it, just say you don't have, and that's it.
I think it brings in the point of it's about being self-aware, because if before then you could say a different answer, and right now it means that you as an individual, as a personality, there is something that has changed maybe between the 5 years. And I can maybe attribute it to maybe being self-aware and other aspects that are innate of you and not actually outside environment factors. But I would like to know how, despite these things happening in our lives, and you guys going through whatever that you're going through, how do you now get to bounce back from this point of, this has happened, I cannot be able maybe to provide for my family at this point. I am stressed so much about it. I have worked, maybe things are still not working. How do you get to now bounce back to now being you that we are used to, the Newton, the Joseph that we are used to? So how do you get to bounce back?
Wow, that's a very good question. Inevitably, at some point, you get to a point whereby you're broke. It's not easy, though possible. It's not easy to like go to nil that you don't have something, but you at some point life is a pendulum. It goes and comes. Same as money. Money is a pendulum, and I learned that, by the way, that if you ask anyone who's had money here, I know he's had some good money at some point. Blah blah blah. There's a point that you have money. I learned that then there's a point that you don't have it. There is a talk in Kenya. It's called how do you call it? The one by engage talk. There's this guy who, I think I'm forgetting his name, he's some famous guy in Kenya. He was speaking about a time that he went through divorce, and I think life was really hard. COVID hit, his business was not doing well. Then he spoke about a point and he said money is a pendulum. You know the pendulum, the physics thing that you hit, it goes and comes. It goes and comes. The moment you learn that, you chill. You accept that you won't have money forever in your life. You have examples of people like Cyrus Jirongo. I mean, these guys who are moneyed. Right now, they don't have, like, there's a time he was declared bankrupt, and right now he's fine. Maybe he has money. It's normal. There are times. Right now, Donald Trump, you'd expect that he has money, but he cannot be able to pay his legal fee before the election. So it's normal. There's a time that money goes. There's a time that money will come to you a lot. So the question is, what do you do when it comes? Because your question is, what do you do when it goes? So the other question is, what do you do when it comes? So the time that money comes to you, a lot of that money, I think much that you do with this money will determine how you will survive at that time that you go down. So this would mean saving, investing, living in cutting your coat according to your size, because at some point when you have a lot of money, you might decide to move into a bigger house that's expensive, but then when the cut goes, then you'll have an abrupt shock. Then you have to like go and live in a smaller place. But if you lived in a place that whether the money is there or not, you have a buffer zone that you can take care of yourself before it does. But then how you bounce back is first of all, as I said, honesty. You say that there's no money, and the people that are concerned, you tell them the reality, and they walk with you through the situation. You tell, if it's applying for a job, you tell them that right now I'm applying for openings and things like that. So it eases the pressure on you. And I think it's just like that pendulum. Money goes and comes. And you have that at the back of your mind, and you're honest with the people that depend on you. I think people deal with it differently, but money goes, money comes.
But how does it make you feel as a man?
How does it make you feel when you don't have money?
Yes.
Not good, for sure. No, not good. You feel a little bit like you question yourself. There is imposter syndrome sometimes comes in. You start questioning your ability, because maybe at that time you're applying for jobs and you're not getting jobs. Then you start questioning that, am I good enough in whatever I'm doing? Why is it that I'm not getting a job? So many things will come with this lack of money at some point. You'll start feeling that you're not good enough in your field. You'll start feeling insecure about, let's say, your wife, if you're married, or your girlfriend, or things like that. You'll start feeling that, what are they thinking about me? So there's a lot of insecurity at that point. But if you're self-aware, you're able to just chill and again say, money goes, money comes. You just believe that, I've been here before. It really helps by the, if you've been there before, yes, I know this script, man, I've been here someday, it will be fine. But it's not good, it feels really bad.
Well, I see that you guys are worried that now you are a man and this can't happen and you have so much to do. To me, it's a responsibility. as a man, you should pass through all this. I mean, you can't just sit there and expect things to happen by themselves. So I really don't want to self-pity that you see now this is hard. We didn't apply to be who we are and to be in the situations where we are in. The only thing that I would say is that much of, like my friend here said, that sometimes money is a pendulum, money goes and money comes. Sometimes what messes people up is planning and putting priorities right, which really there is no like a laid out formula or plan that people should spend their lives like this. But planning in this sense to me is trying to live within your means, because you cannot pay, like I've seen financial analysts try to say that if you earn X amount of money, then your rent should not surpass this. So if you don't plan yourself along those lines, that 75% of your earnings go into rent, then you've not eaten, children have not gone to school, you've not bought clothing, you've not bought, all these things, then you fail to plan. And once you fail to plan, then failure is inevitable. So planning aspect of it is very important, especially when it comes to finances, because you have it. This is the money, you have it. But what are you going to do with it? You can decide to buy a 10 million watch of your 12 million that you got. So you have a watch, yes, but you only have 2 million shillings.
Yeah.
Yes. Which will tell you, which will run for 24 hours, just like the 1,000 shillings watch would do. So it is priorities, it is how you set things, and it's how you plan. Number 2 is navigating when things are not working as a man. One very important thing, and one which one should always pray to have, is people who understand. Sometimes the biggest problem is having people who won't understand. Yes. Especially parents or siblings or spouses and things like that. Because we've always had this problem, especially when somebody is single. You used to give your parents 10,000 Kenyan shillings per month. Some people who don't understand, because some people just don't understand, irrespective of whether they are parents or what. Now you're married and you have kids, and your kids have to go to school. You moved into a bigger house because you need to have extra bedrooms for your children and for your nannies. Now the money that you used to give them per month goes down to 5,000. Then problems start. Yes. And the new person, the new aspect that came into your life is not to be blamed. However, since you got this lady, then the lady has told you not to give us money. So having people who understand is very important. Sometimes it's a spouse. There are some spouses that they want a particular style of life, irrespective of the situation. So here you are in business. Business is not doing good. Like COVID hit, and if you looked at social scientists, they had a lot of studies of how COVID affected families. So you have COVID is here, business are shutting, people are not going to work, people have to take pay cuts. But you have this person who won't understand all this, and then that makes it very hard. And it all goes back to what he said. It's honesty. You got to tell this person that we were this, and we were this because of A, B, and C factors. But all these factors have now changed, and we have to take this particular lifestyle. Yes. And normally it's not a problem when you upgrade. Problem comes when you downgrade. When you now have to move from a bigger house to a smaller house. If you don't have people who understand you, then things become difficult. 2, it's growth. In every aspect of life, people grow. Even if you start a business, you can start with a smaller business, then you expect to open branches like that. But some people would think that you are in business, you have money, and they want a particular, lifestyle. Even if you can provide it, but you strain to provide it, then there's a big problem. Because people need to grow. You need to know that if I have this restaurant, I need to open another branch, and as you open another branch, you have more staff, you have more bills to pay, and probably you have more income that is coming. So you really need to have people who walk with you all through this journey, who know that we can sacrifice going for holiday so that we pump the money into our business. So to me, I find understanding people who are around you, if they understand you, then life is a little better. Yeah,
I agree. It also applies also for ladies so many times. But now what happens if actually, now maybe just speaking for somebody out there who is maybe experiencing the same thing, that the people who are around them are not able to understand their situation? How can they navigate through that?
Boundaries. Boundaries. I mean, as a man, you need to have boundaries. I mean, you either shape up or ship out. Simple. I mean, I'm ruthless. It depends. So, first of all, the people that I don't think I need to over-explain it, but boundaries. I mean, you know that this is what you get when you're with me. This is what you don't get. Simple. If you ask me for money, like tomorrow, I'm like telling you, if you can't get it tomorrow, if you can't get it today, and the problem is yours, and you need it tomorrow. Just explain to me what happens. And again, if you yourself you can't get it, what makes you think I can get it? You just tell me. I mean, we are talking. You just tell me how do you think I'll get it? No, you tell me. I mean, you are asking for. If you can tell me how you think I can get it, then I'll give you the money. You just tell me. Then the person will be like, oh yeah, chill. I've told you, if you know you can get the money right now to sort you for tomorrow, get it. I'll give you the money when the month ends. Simple. And also, someone has spoken about this aspect of budgeting. When you're budgeting, you need to. Well, it's really hard. It's really hard. Not hard, but we are lazy to budget. But of course, it helps when you have a known source of income. The way if you're sure that you're getting this amount of money every month, then you have no excuse not to budget. You're supposed to budget, and in your budget, you should be able to cut out that this is the amount of money that I'm releasing back home. And me, the way I do it, I choose to handle bigger projects. Like, you don't call me for petty stuff like credit. I won't even text you. Like, how do you ask me for like 100 shillings? Like, you ask me for 100 shillings to call someone. I know that yes, you don't have, but tell me that you want to start a business to be able to pay these 100 shillings yourself one day. Because if you ask me 100 today, you'll ask me tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. So you just set your boundaries clear and people know what you stand for. If you call me that your kid cannot go to school because of school fee, I'll try. But I'll try it in a very clear framework. I'll tell you, this is your child. What amount of money does he have? Do they need to go to school? Let's say it's 50K. How many people are you in your family right now? You are the mom, there's the dad, you have 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids who live in Nairobi. Yes, they're not doing a very good job, no problem. Same, you need 50K. I can't give you 50K every year. Speak in your family, have a meeting. If you're sure that this kid needs to go to school, you have 12 months in a year, you need 50,000. Divide that by 12 months. I'll give you, if you commit 50,000 divided by 12, I think that comes to around 8,000 or whatever. You are 6 people in a family. Divide this 8,000 between you people. Cut out 1,300 every month. You're paying for your child to go to school. I'll give you the initial 10,000. Then every month, all of you will contribute to a kitty 1,300 to take this kid to school. That's for sure if you want to take this kid to school. Otherwise, nobody helps you to bring the kid to the world, and you can't put it to someone to like. You have to really love your kid. That's when someone can help you. And when you put it so clear to someone like that and they still can't get it, then honestly, you're not helping them. And you also tell them that, remember, if you don't educate this kid at this level, he'll just come back to be a burden. So you are not running away from the problem. This kid will go out there, maybe have kids, and will force you now. Again, you'll have to pay fee for these kids that the fee they didn't want to pay. And there's no point of taking this kid to, like, let's say a school that pays, let's say 6,000 per year. then maybe they will not get good education and end up again coming back to you. So you just set boundaries and clear plan.
Wow.
That's it.
I think we've spoken about being in this situation where maybe as men maybe sometimes you're facing those setbacks, and I believe it brings up the aspect of friendships. You guys have been friends, I believe, for quite a while, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and how do we now as adults nurture these friendships? Because I feel like adult friendships and childhood friendships are so different, and I feel like they're a bit hard, personally speaking, as compared to childhood friendships. So how do you go about nurturing these friendships? Because this is now the support system that most of us would need during these times of problems, maybe.
Well, me thinks that friendship is a natural thing. I've never seen a situation where somebody writes you and tells you that they want to be your friend. It normally always comes naturally. And friendship in adulthood is one thing that I like about it is that now in this situation, people are mature. People are mature, people understand that people have different tastes, people have different interests, people are looking at life in different ways, and more especially, people are likely not to share so many, similarities like, cultural background, education, and things like that. So really, nurturing friendship as adults is just, to me, it's just setting boundaries. You know that this is X. If I deal with him, it is like this. And two is just understanding that I have been with this person as my friend for a while. This is what he likes. This is what he doesn't like. And personally, I have created friends based on different things. I have friends when we can talk football. I have friends with whom we can discuss issues that are around my career and my area of interest. Because people just, these things just come naturally. You have friends who are just crazy about cars, and when you need to talk about cars, you almost talk about the same thing. Your friends who are in tech, and they know the latest trends. But more generally and basically, friendship at the level of adults is just understanding one another and knowing that people are different, and knowing that we even have different levels of maturity. Yes, we know that we have this friend of ours, but the problem is that when he is drunk, he becomes very hard to handle. But he's your friend anyway. Because when he is sober, then he's a very good person. So that level of understanding is what I'm talking about. Yes, you just know that X has this boundary, has this limit, and this friend who becomes very difficult to handle when he's drunk, he doesn't drink that much. He takes one glass, but from there he starts speaking like
English.
Yes. So that level of understanding, that you're not annoyed that this is, because you know that this is the situation, we are going out and we know that X is very good now. But the moment we go in there and he's taken his one glass, then we know that things are likely to be like this. So friendship at the level of adult, to me, is just like that. And letting people pursue what they like, and not judging, and not really expecting so much from your friends, because you understand them over time. You know, as children, you expect that if you're going to school and you have your kid friend, and today you carried snacks, tomorrow you expect them to carry, today they gave you half of their snacks, if tomorrow you expect to have half of their snacks. It's different. It's totally different in adulthood. Yes.
Just a question that has popped up in my mind. Now, when you talked about there are friends that you can talk about football with, there are friends you can talk about cars with. So, correct me if I'm wrong, does it mean that these are friends, but in different categories, or these are just seasonal friends?
Not really. Maybe to make it clearer, you could find all these in, you know, most aspects of these things that I've talked about in one person. But X, because I don't know if it's myself or with every other person, that we can sit over a given period of time, but from this time to this time, people were talking about this, then it jumped to this, then it jumped to this, then it jumped to that. Then so in most cases, you will find people that you naturally just blend, because when this topic comes, then you know you have something to talk about when this topic, and before you realize it, you've talked way past midnight. So I didn't say that now because life is not like that. You don't wake up and say, today I'm going to talk about cars. No, it's almost natural, and one thing will lead to another. Yes. So that is what I mean. Yes. It's not like you classify your friends that then they now don't know football and this. In a group of 6 people, there could be people with different interests. Yes.
It's because just naturally there are some people that you just can't have any other conversation about.
Exactly, yes.
Aside from maybe cars. But I feel like those are more of acquaintances. Maybe I could not call them friends. I don't know. What's your take on that? Because if I can just come to you and talk to you maybe about design only, then am I really your friend?
Actually,
I don't believe that there are people who can talk about nothing at all. They only don't have that in-depth knowledge or you know, ideas about it. Yes. Because if I need anything design, then I will call him. But that does not mean that we don't talk about politics. Yes. But there is a political scientist who, you know, sometimes we talk and we are like, by the way, you know that I've never understood why this is like this. He's never understood why X is like, or whatever aspect is like it is. But there is somebody now who has knowledge about that who will come and say that and this is like this. Yeah.
Makes sense.
True. I mean, just because he said almost everything perfectly in this situation, I can just add something small. First of all, I think I've never gotten this concept of friend. I don't personally. People, when you say like, and they expect that term to come up, acquaintance. I don't know who acquaintance is. I don't know who friend is. Honestly, I don't. And then and ladies really like saying this a lot. No, she's not even my friend. She's just my acquaintance. I'm like, what is that? And what is friend?